Excuse me, Brit. Did you think you won the Bad Girls Club? Because that's what it's giving. That lady talked about having a firearm not once, but twice. And why is she still on the show? This is what Kenya got kicked off for? If y'all don't want to say it, I'm going to say it. Justice for Kenya. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Kay Unscripted and I am your girl Kay. If you love reality TV drama, you are in the right place because y'all, the Real Housewives of Atlanta just gave us an episode filled with never before seen drama ever. Brit Eady was out here doing the most, and for what? Let me not get ahead of myself, but trust me, this is one recap you don't want to miss. But before we get into the mess, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel because we recap all the wildest reality TV moments right here. Now let's get into this drama because there's a lot to unpack. Let's get into it. The episode kicks off with Brit and her dog Mimosa meeting Angela for a casual walk in the park. They're catching up and Angela shares that life has been hectic for her. And now when she was just about to ask Brit about her husband, Brit swallows a fly. She swallowed a whole fly. Girl, if it was me, I would have packed it up and gone home right there and then. As a matter of fact, that was Mike. Since he's with Brit 24/7 and that's all she talks about besides Kenya, that was Mike. Mike was the fly. But we'll get into that later, right? Anyways, once she recovers from swallowing Mike, Angela starts venting about her family drama. And apparently she made a huge mistake of involving her family in her marital issues. And now it's a whole mess. Charles and Angela's mom had a heated argument over cleaning. Yes, cleaning. And Charles refuses to let it go. Meanwhile, Angela is financially supporting her family while Charles is footing some of the bills. So she's kind of feeling stuck between them. Now, listen, y'all. Let me give y'all some free advice. Do not, and I repeat, do not vent to your family about your spouse. Because guess what? When you and your man have made up, your family will be side-eyeing him. They will be holding on to that issue. Everything he does will be under a microscope. And we all know our families, so we need to be very wise about what we share and how much we share. I know some people are very close with their family members, and that's great and all, but you have to be very cautious when you're telling your family or when you're going to them just about the negative stuff. Because guess what? When things are nice, do you go to them and tell them, oh, he just did this, he just did that for me? So if you're always bringing your drama to your family, be very careful because they're going to hold on to it, right? Marriage is between you and your spouse and God. Let's keep it at that, okay? Brit also opens up about her own family struggles with her sister since their dad passed away. I, for one, know for sure that grief is very hard, especially when it's the person who held the family together and they're no longer there. Everyone grieves differently and it can really shake up the relationships within the family. I know what that feels like from losing my mom 2 years ago. And grief is unpredictable and there's no time limit to healing. Today you feel okay. You will look at the person's picture, you'll watch their memories, you'll think of them, you'll talk about them, you'll be okay. And the next day you might bring them up and you will be breaking down like a little baby. That's just how grief is sometimes. So I feel for Brit's sisters, but I cannot help but wonder if there's more to the story, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. Next, we check in on Shamia, who's chilling by the pool with her sister, and she plays a snippet of her new song. And honestly, y'all, the song is really good. She's debating whether to play it for the girls at Angela's dinner, which is the next time she will be seeing all of the girls together. And she's still feeling some type of way about the argument she had with Angela. I love seeing the dynamics with Shamia and her family. Her sisters are always so supportive and hyping her up, and I love that for her. Then we meet up with Portia and her team. Now, this part kind of broke my heart because I see her cousin Londi in this scene. And if you have been following Portia, you will know that Londi actually passed away last year. And I can only imagine seeing this play out on the screen. It must be incredibly tough for her and her family. And so I just want to take a moment to um, say rest in peace to Lundy and give my deepest condolences to Portia and her family. Like I said, I just lost my mom 2 years ago, so I know what that feels like to see the memories and to not have that person there anymore. So I wish them all the comfort and love in this moment. So Portia is in her confessional and she shares that she had plans to be retired by 40, but Cinderella has to wake up because the soft life is over. Now, girl, Cinderella was the one who was doing all of the hard work and she made her Prince Charming. Do you mean Sleeping Beauty, babes? Please let me know because the references are not referencing. Portia, get it together, boo. Anyways, she's focused on expanding Pampered by Portia, and she's always looking for serious brand ambassadors for Go Naked Hair. So Johnny, her business associate, drops a little bomb. He said that Dennis reached out to him to assist Drew with her music career. Dennis said that he has people that he knows in the industry, and so if Johnny can link Dennis up with some people to get Drew's music out there. And then Portia, in her confessional, drags Drew by saying Drew is given single white female. You could wear my hair, but you cannot be me. Child, Portia. I cannot with you today, Portia. Portia is so funny. She also reveals that Drew hasn't fulfilled her contract with Go Naked Hair, and so corporate, aka herself, is handling it. So Johnny jokingly asks her for Go Naked's corporate number, and Portia's like, well, you have my number, don't you? Hello? You've reached Go Naked Corporate? Portia. That was a nice little kiki moment. Next, we see Drew and her soon-to-be ex-husband Ralph. He's training with his sons when their daughter says, Daddy, it's mommy's turn. And Drew looks so uncomfortable. Ralph looks like he wants to say no, but reluctantly he lets Drew run. And this man has the audacity to say, don't tear your Achilles. Don't tear your Achilles. Ralph, please leave that lady alone. But in her confessional, Drew says that she's trying to keep things cordial, but she doesn't trust what Ralph and his legal team has up their sleeves. And I'm just sitting here like, girl, what legal team? Ralph is the legal team. What are you talking about? Didn't you tell us in the last episode that Ralph was representing himself? So what legal team? Then we see Ralph getting into the confessional and he doesn't have a shirt under his suit. So y'all gave Ralph a confessional, but Kenya doesn't get one? Bravo, make it make sense. What are y'all doing? Anyway, he says the divorce has been messy, but he just wants 50-50 custody. Drew doesn't seem against it, but she's also worried about what is in the best interest of their kids. And then we find out that Drew sent Ralph an article about narcissism and he was not amused. That conversation came up because apparently one of their sons sent an article to Ralph about the divorce between Drew and Ralph. And so according to the judge's ruling, they're not supposed to let the kids know what's going on with the divorce. So then a producer asked Drew what makes Ralph a narcissist. And this girl had the nerve to say, ooh, can I check the definition? Drew, please don't piss me off. You've been calling this man a narcissist forever and you don't know the definition of the word? Get it together, Drew. Now we're at Kenya Moore Hair Spa. And listen, y'all, every time I hear about Kenya's hairline, the Kenya Moore hair care chant, it lives rent-free in my head. And I'm just like, Kenya Moore hair care, Kenya Moore hair care. Am I the only one? But anyways, the spa looks gorgeous. And, Kelly comes in, Kenya gives her a tour. Kenya was like, girl, why do you have a bodyguard? And Kelly drops a bombshell that her ex-husband threatened her in court, y'all. In court. The man had the nerve to threaten to take this lady's life in court. Y'all, this is serious. She shared with us that she has a restraining order against him, and currently he has no access to the kids because of the threats. Now, I am an advocate for intimate partner violence, and I will make a disclaimer today that this is not a joke. I applaud Kelly for doing everything that she could do to protect herself and her family. First of all, I applaud her for exiting that relationship. She did say that things had gotten physical between her husband, and I will tell you something. It's very difficult for a spouse to exit the relationship when there is abuse happening. So when that person leaves the relationship, and I don't want to discriminate, and I don't want to say it's only women being abused. No, men are being abused too. However, in this case, it's a woman being abused. And when a woman leaves the relationship, it takes a lot for her to leave. So I applaud Kelly for putting herself and her children first. It's scary, and no one should have to live in fear. Now it turns out that the real reason her ex is fighting her isn't even about the kids. You would think that it would be about his children, but it's about her business. He wants to take it from her, and he wants to leave her with nothing. And Kenya being Kenya says, oh, so he's trying to color purple you? And Kelly's like, well, I'm waiting to exhale him. I love that they had a little kiki moment too, just to lighten things up a little bit, because I could imagine how scary that is for Kelly to be experiencing. And especially because she's on a public platform now, the show, which means that there will be more exposure to her life and everything that she's going through in the midst of such a terrible divorce. We also get a very vulnerable side of Kenya in this moment. She reveals that she has put her daughter's college fund into a business and she's terrified that it won't work. She said she's scared, and I love when Kenya gets vulnerable first and she lets us in. And I feel like Kelly gave her a safe space and a safe environment for her to open up. I felt for her in that moment, and Kelly was being so supportive. She was hyping her up. She was reminding her that she has it, she can do it, and she was just speaking life into Kenya. And I love that. This is what we would love to see. This is the women empowerment that we want to see, not people threatening people. But let me not get ahead of myself. This is the kind of energy we love to see on the show. The rest of the episode was a mess, but let's talk about Brit and her sister's awkward lunch. Brit meets up with her sister Cher for lunch, and is it me, or is Brit very animated all the time? It seems like she exaggerates everything and she's extremely extra for no reason. But anyway, they're catching up, and it's about a month since Kelly saw her nephews, and they order food, and Brit asks her sister, well, have you talked to mom? And immediately her sister gives a look and she's like, yeah, we're good. I probably blocked her. And she says that this is her defense mechanism. Her sister tells her, listen, we were very tight. No matter what issue we have, we work it out. But now, when we have a problem, you just move to spending time with your husband and you forget about me. Apparently, when her sister's trying to have a conversation with her, Mike is around. And when she brings that up to Brit tells her, well, that's my husband. That's my husband. Somebody go get my husband. Now, if we thought she was doing too much with Kenya, she was definitely doing too much with her sister. And I'm going to have to side with her sister on this one. There has to be some balance. Sometimes it has to just be you and your sister, not you, your sister, and your husband. Girl, no. Why? Why does he always have to be around? And Mike has to take some responsibility in this as well. Because why are you around when she's trying to have a one-on-one time with her sisters? This is too much. And as a married woman myself, when I'm with my people, my husband lets me be with my people. When he's with his friends and he's with his people, that's his time. Because even if we love each other and we cannot stop being around each other and all of that, we need to have our own space sometimes. He does his thing, I do my thing, we respect each other, we have boundaries, we know our limits, and then we come together. When we're in a social setting together, we're together. So her sister opens up and tells her, listen, there are times I feel depressed and I'm struggling with my anxiety and I just need time alone with you. And I'm not coming for your relationship at all. I respect it. I love that you're happy, but sometimes I just need my sister. And that is very valid. I personally don't think Brit gets it because on one hand, she's telling her sister, hey, just call me and tell me you want to meet up with only me. Why does she have to call you and tell you I only want to see you? If your sister wants to spend time with you, she means you, not Mike. Then Brit is in her confessional and she's saying that her sister is behaving that way because she's not in a relationship. Girl, what? I don't think that's what's happening right there. Why does she have to make it abundantly clear? Does she have to write it down on a piece of paper for you to understand? What is it? Is that really the issue? Are we missing some parts of the story, just like she gave the story about her dad, the last episode, and the insurance? There were pieces that were missing in that story. Maybe they cut it off, I don't know. But there has to be more than just spending time with her. And while her sister is having a moment with Brit, y'all tell me why Mike is calling that lady. You could hear the phone pinging non-stop. And she's like, Mike wants me to come home. Now, I was about to say, if it was me, but that will never be me because I know the type of relationship that I have. But if in some other world that was me, I would be pissed. If I were her sister, I would be pissed. Because, relax, I'm with my sister. Oh girl, how about you just shoot him a message and tell him I'm with my sister? Brit just proved her sister's point. Because while she's trying to spend time with you, you're bringing Mike into it. It's giving Mike is all that she has. And don't get me wrong, my husband is everything to me. But we have our own things going on. And when we come together, it's a balance. It looks like Drew doesn't give a damn about Portia. But anyway, she walks into the studio and Dennis is there. So they're filming after all. Anyways, Dennis, did you get Portia's approval? Or you're doing whatever the hell you want to do? So they're talking and Drew's like, well, I've been getting into a lot of trouble these days. And yo, why is Dennis acting clueless? He's like, well, I don't even know what's going on. And of course, Bravo reminds us of his conversation with Portia. Drew says, well, there wasn't an issue up until now. This isn't even affecting Portia. I think we have already established that Drew lied, first of all. So let's just move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore. So she tells Dennis, well, I've been very stressed out. It's been very stressful when I'm around the group because Portia is going off on her. And you told me she was okay with it. And Dennis is like, well, she was in Nigeria eating fufu. Dennis, if you don't shut the hell up, don't piss me off, because what does that have to do with anything? And now we see what your motives are by working with Drew. You were pissed that Portia married Simon, and so now you're trying to get back at her. That's exactly what it is, and you're using Drew. And Drew is not even smart enough to open her eyes and realize this is what's happening. Anyways, she asks him to clear this up, and he says, how about you take the lead on that? Drew, even a blind person can see what's going on here. Dennis might be working on your album, and I've heard people say that the album is great and good for you, but you're letting that man use you. So then we move on to the highlight of the night. We get to Angela's Black Excellence dinner where Brit acts a damn fool. But before they show up, the girls are getting ready for Angela's party, and we see Shamia and Portia on FaceTime. And Shamia still feels uncomfortable and unsure of how she's going to maneuver the night because she'll be seeing Angela for the first time after the blow up that they had. And Portia tells her, like, girl, don't sweat it. She invited you, so, she probably just wants to move on. She also says that she doesn't think this is the right time for her, Portia, to talk to Drew. And just like I thought and I said in my last recap, she wants to have a one-on-one sit down with Drew, right? So the theme for the night, like I said earlier, is Black Excellence. Brit is the first to arrive, then Drew walks in, and slowly all of the ladies start to arrive at the venue. And apparently the venue is in a rough side of the town, aka the hood. But all of the ladies look very beautiful. And now here comes Miss Moore with a teal dress. Now, Kenya, I love you, girl, but why? And she's like, oh, I didn't get the memo. But of course, that wasn't true. Bravo showed us real quick. Now, Kenya, if you were hosting and one of the ladies did that at your event, you would be pissed. So why are you being extra? Anyway, she greets everyone. And child, here comes Brit with the theatrics. Oh, that wasn't a hug. That was a pat. Girl, at this point, it's giving desperate for attention mixed with Delulu. Because what? Anyways, Kenya doesn't pay her no mind, and then we see Shamia walks in with an olive branch, a real one, and she apologizes to Angela. They hug it out, and they're good now. Praise the Lord, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Okay, so they're all seated and chatting, and Kelly tells Drew, I know you said you were bringing your sister at my event, but I didn't know you were bringing your makeup artist too. Now, y'all, we all know Drew is known for bringing a whole damn entourage wherever she goes. She always has a whole squad of people. Kelly tells her, you brought an extra person and you didn't even buy anything. So Kenya asks, well, did everyone buy something? And Kelly said, no. And she looks over at Drew. And Drew said, well, that's not true. And she says she bought a blazer for her son. Drew pulls up her receipts and she hands her phone to Kelly. And she's like, do you see it? Here's the receipt. And Kelly and her nosy self said, well, I see Dennis texted Drew. And Drew was like, don't do too much. It's a group text. Don't do that. So what is the verdict? Did Drew buy anything or didn't she buy anything? So anyway, Drew asked Kenya about her hair spa and she said that she has a grand opening coming and all of the ladies are invited and everyone seemed excited except Brit. They zoomed in on her face and she's making all type of faces, right? So Angela shifts the conversation and she's asking Shamia, hey, what's been going on with you? And so Shamia shares that she's been in the studio working on music and so she plays her song and Portia is like, that's Drew, not her. And so Shamia corrects and she says, no, that's me. And shh, you need to listen. Keep quiet. Listen to the song. You can tell that Shamia was really irritated by Portia and she's like giving her faces and stuff. Now, girlfriend, how don't you know your best friend's voice? All of the girls, they're vibing and they're enjoying the song. And Portia just keeps interrupting. She just keeps questioning the girl. And honestly, I'm really disappointed in Portia. I don't care what nobody said. In this moment, you should have supported your friend and hyped her up. Because that girl has always had your back. Anyway, we move on to the mess. Angela wants to play a game. And we all know those games never go down well. She plays a game where each person writes down an anonymous question and they ask one of the ladies to read it out. Now, we already know it's about to be the shade segment and the first question is from Shamia and her question was, what did you do to thank your husband when he gave you that Rolls Royce? And she demonstrates exactly what she did. She was giving some throat action. I don't want to demonstrate. But Shamia is crazy, and I loved every bit of that demonstration. Then Portia reads out the next question to Angela, and the question was, what's a secret you don't want the other ladies to know? And so Angela was like, well, I'm an open book. So Portia's like, have you ever had a threesome? And she said, no, she doesn't bring anyone into their bedroom. And then Portia's like, well, I heard your husband was a little bit spicy. I heard something about Charles. So Angela's like, well, what did you hear about my husband? And she's like, it's okay, never mind. So why did you bring it up in the first place? You don't like people bringing up you and Simon, but you're bringing up things about that lady. Girl, stop. Stop. Next up, Kenya gets a question. Kelly looks so excited reading that letter out loud. And she's like, what color panties do you have on? And Miss Moore, she stood up and she showed the ladies. Portia's like, Kenya, how your pum pum so big? They were laughing. They were having a good old time. And then Drew pulls another question, and it's for Kenya. And the question was, why are you so worried about happily married women? Now, I immediately knew that question came from Brit because she corrected Drew. Drew said woman, and she said no, women. So Kenya laughs and she says, well, it's a habit. And Kelly's like, oh, it's a habit? So Kenya's like, no, girl, I'm just playing. And then here comes Brit. She reads a question for Kenya. The question is, can you speak to Brit nicely without an attitude? And she said she didn't write the question, but I definitely believe she wrote both of those questions. Kenya tells her, I can speak to any woman kindly without an attitude, and she thinks that she has spoken to all of the women nicely. So Brit starts questioning her, and she said, it's not about everybody, it's about Brit. And Kenya was just over it. She wasn't really taking her on. And she was like, okay, you want to have a moment, go ahead and have your moment. Kenya tells her, listen, I'm not playing these games with you, honey. Peasants can't come for the queen. Now, in the confessional, everyone agreed that Brit was doing the absolute most. We didn't see them saying anything in the moment, and we've been seeing it from episode 1. So anyways, the girls were not really feeding too much into it. Kenya wasn't paying her much attention. She wasn't responding to her. The girls start to leave, and Brit says, let me go call my husband that cares about me. Now we know Kenya is divorced, and we know the relationship that she had with her ex-husband. So it's given that Brit was a fan of the show, and now she's on the show, and she had to throw that jab at Kenya. So remember when I told you all Brit was doing the absolute most? Yeah, she's screaming, somebody find my husband, get my husband for me, where is my husband? And here comes Mike waltzing in, and she's still running her mouth about, oh, I had to let that B know, don't play with me. And she's going on and on and on. Girl, nobody has been responding to you for 10 minutes. You're arguing with yourself at this point, and you're embarrassing. Mike steps in and he asks her, who was it? And she says, Kenya. And y'all, did I hear that girl say she has whips and pistols? Everything? What? Are you serious, Brit? Are you okay? Seriously, are you okay? What is wrong with you? And mind you, Kenya wasn't paying her any attention. She says, oh, do you do that fake Hollywood shit over there? This is real life. You're gonna be respectful. Yeah, today is the day you're gonna learn. Girl, what? Mike knows she messed up. He knows she was doing a little bit too much. Not a little, she was doing absolutely too much. So he quickly tries to take the mic off her. But it's too late. We've already heard you threaten Kenya. Not once, but twice. But then we see Portia offer Kenya a ride. So she gets in the car with Portia. And when I tell you, I was so happy to see how these girls had Kenya's back, because she was waiting for her car. and her car hadn't arrived yet. And so Brit's over there screaming about having pistols. So I could very well imagine that Kenya was frightened, and as she should be. As she should be, because the argument has taken another level. You don't do that. You don't threaten nobody about no pistols. Like, what? So they're in the car, and Kenya's telling them that Brit said she has pistols and whatnot, and she's like, that girl needs to go. And now we see why Kenya did what she did to Brit, which we will get to see on the next episode. I have to say that I've never seen anyone make threats about a firearm. This is serious. This is next level. As to why Bravo did not interject, or even put out a disclaimer for this episode is alarming to me. Now we know Kenya has done some things in the past. We've seen it, but this moment, this wasn't warranted. From the beginning, Brit has been trying to cause an issue with Kenya. She had no real reason. She talked about the ring. She hugged you. The next time y'all saw each other, you all resolved it and you were like, okay, because you were pissed off about a hug. But she hugged you. Y'all were fine at Kelly's event. She hugged you again at this event. Now you blowing it up. For what? As to why this girl is still on camera, I don't understand it. Justice for Kenya is all I'm going to say. Guys, this is where the episode ends, and of course next episode we get to see how this thing continued to blow up. But this has been my recap on the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 episode 4. Please share your thoughts below on this episode. Are you team Kenya or team Brit? I personally I am team Kenya. Justice for Kenya. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next recap. Bye.
Kay Unscripted, no dates restricted.